Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is some footage provided by Antisocialmunky. He recorded this game and was kind enough to send it over to me. And in this game we're going to be looking at a Pit Fighter team composition. This is a trait that's typically played with the family trait, so it's kind of a reroll trait. And the basic idea is you play through Violet as the main unit. This was very, very strong in the B patch version of the initial release version. The initial release version came out and Black Rose was like extremely overtuned. They nerfed that, and they also buffed Violet because she was kind of like the worst unit in the game, and the developers gave her this absolutely ridiculous buff, which then immediately took her from like the weakest unit in the game into like the strongest unit in the game. Then she got nerfed in a C patch. This is after the C patch was done, but Violet is still very playable especially if you're uncontested. And if you can get deeper into the Pit Fighter trait, it can be pretty strong. So we're going to see a lot of Pit Fighter emblems in this game, like an absolutely disgusting number of Pit Fighter emblems. And we're going to see how Antisocialmunky makes use of this. We are, at least here at home, still kind of getting back in the swing of things after we had our second child arrive. So I'm really grateful that Antisocialmunky and Headwinder have been kind enough to share some of this footage with me when I am not playing a lot of TFT games, so I can still put some interesting content up on the channel. But this is a pretty entertaining game, and should be fun to see. I also think it's fun to cast games that other people play because I can look at some of the things that they do differently than me. If you watch this channel, you're probably used to my playstyle by now since I've done, 400 something of these videos, and when I'm playing, you get a good sense for how I like to play these games. But in this time, you're going to get to see how Antisocialmunky plays. So anyway, he's kind of gotten a lot of the core pieces of this comp. The core way that people play this... Oh, first let's do the augment here, though. All right, so look, he's going to get this cooking pot. At the start of each turn, all units holding a frying pan or spatula item grant the nearest champion 50 permanent health. Gain a frying pan. So this is a pretty... Again, we don't have augment data, so we don't know how strong these things are, but my understanding is people think this is one of the stronger gold augments at the moment. Again, we don't have data to point to because Riot stupidly got rid of it, but the general feeling is that this is actually a pretty strong augment to take because it gives you a spatula. You can make an additional trait with it, and in addition, you get stacking health for the whole game based on whoever stands next to that frying pan item. And if you get more emblems later on down the road, if you get any more items down the road, then you actually get the chance to stack up even more of these later on. So if you get multiple emblems, you can really buff up a unit. Now, to be clear, the frying pan only gives the 50 health bonus to one unit. It's only one unit that gets this. I actually played this in one game, and I had the wrong impression. I thought it gave it. I thought the bonus went to every unit that stood next to the person holding the spatula or frying pan, but that's actually not the case, and that would be a little too overpowered if that was the case. Still, what it does mean is that Violet's going to be the main carry in this game. There's actually someone else contesting Violet, and ASM's looking at their board right now. They have taken the Super Sterix, which gives you a Sterix resolve, if I'm getting the name of that item correctly, and it has like extra stats on it. So ASM knows he's going to be contested, but he's going to be playing this anyway. If you've watched some of the other games that Antisocialmunky has played that I've put on my channel over the years, you probably know he's really the master of playing reroll comps, at least in our little group. He basically plays nothing but reroll comps. He will identify one or two reroll comps and just play them and just really, really refine how they want to be played. It's early enough in the set that I don't think he's quite done that yet because he is playing a decent number of games, but I think he's at the point where he's played probably like 20 to 30 games with like this family Pit Fighter reroll, and has not played like 200 games, which was the case in some of the past sets. I remember he did like Kale reroll and Tristana reroll and had played each of them like literally hundreds and hundreds of times. So that is not the case yet, but he has played this enough to have a pretty good sense for how to play it. And the units that you play on this board are relatively straightforward. So you play the family units, so that's Vi, Powder, and Vander. We haven't seen Vander show up yet. So you play the three of them with Violet as the main carry. Then you also play Draven, and you also play Darius. And there's actually a reason why you do that. Darius provides Watcher trait for Vander, and Draven provides Pit Fighter trait for the Violet. And then together, they actually make a Conqueror trait, so you can get some Conqueror stacks as well. You never take this beyond Conqueror 2. You just play these two units, so you're not going to go deep into this trait and like get hundreds and hundreds of stacks, but it does give you a little bit of extra income. And since you're already going to be re-rolling for Violet, Powder, Violet and Powder, you might as well grab some of the other 1 costs as well. And that's always how these 1 and 2 cost reroll builds do. You never want to be rerolling for just one 1 cost unit. If you're going to be rerolling for these units, you really want to reroll for like 3 or 4 of them, because as you hit one of the units, it helps you unlock the other units as well. So typically you want to play multiple, you want to be playing multiple versions of them. And so that allows you to reroll not just for Powder and Violet, but also for the Draven and the Darius as well. And Draven actually turns into a pretty good tank if you can 3-star him. So Darius has the Frying Pan right now, and the goal will be to turn him into a Pit Fighter as well. And then we'll slot, ASM's going to slot in Vander, and then after that, he's just going to, he needs to slot in Vander and a Powder. And then after that, you just go vertical Pit Fighters from there. And normally the build will cap out at 6 Pit Fighters. Anyway, ASM has second pick on the carousel. He actually did win 1 round, which he probably would have preferred to lose that round. Probably would have preferred to lose 1 round. But he has second pick on the carousel. And he will go ahead and take the cloak, and that's so he can make Bloodthirster. Violet is kind of your standard melee unit. And by the way, there's 2-star Powder, so he really should play that over the second Violet. Yeah, there we go. But this way, he's going to have Bloodthirster Titans on Violet. Again, this is standard itemization for like a melee AD carry. And then, yeah, this other person, Elderly, the person he's contested, you'll see ASM checking this board a lot because that's the person he's contesting with. They have the Sterix, and those are pretty much the 3 items you would ideally have on Violet. Bloodthirster, Titan's Resolve, and Sterix. Again, melee AD carry itemization. This is very standard. This has kind of been what you'd put on these units for like tons and tons of past sets. I mean, I guess you could always do like Quicksilver Sash, Edge of Night. Those are not bad items, but these 3 are kind of seen as being the best right now. By the way, this person's rerolling for Nocturne, so that's actually good. They're going to take some 2 costs out of the pool, but they've already hit 2-star Nocturne, so the Nocturne looks pretty strong right now. And this board's going to get run over, which again is what you expect. 1 cost reroll builds typically plan on lost streaking through all of stage 2. Now, one thing that's disappointing about this setup for ASM is he finds a Vander, which is good. And you can see, even though he has 2-star Powder, he's going to play the Vander over the Powder because it's still better to play the Vander here. Vander will put a Watcher trait, and Powder really, even as a 2-star, this early doesn't really do anything. Anyways, I was going to say, part of the problem for ASM is he hasn't really gotten great items over there. He has a Tear and a Rod, and those are just not items he can particularly use in this team composition. This is a team comp that really does want to play through AD units. You really want like swords and bows, and you know, you can always use some tank items, but the Tear and the Rod are really not what you're looking for. So ASM's gonna have to find some way to kill these. If you're curious about him making Pit Fighter Emblem, it is makeable with the spatula. The recipe is, I believe, Cloak plus the Frying Pan. By the way, he's up against this other Violet, and it looks like he loses to this other Violet, but that's actually not bad because he wants to keep loss streaking here. Like, a close loss here is a really good result. So he does have a close loss. That's not bad. He also killed the 10th unit to get the little mini Conqueror cash out. So I'd say that went pretty much perfectly. Despite losing 4 out of 5 rounds, he only took 17 damage. So he's really not in bad shape, especially considering he only has Violet 1-star. All right, there we go. Now he has Violet 2-star. And there's a little mini cash out. You always get 2 gold from the first Conqueror cash out here in set 13, at least until that gets changed in patches. So anyway, ASM did take that cloak off the carousel. He went ahead and used it to make the Bloodthirster. Now he needs to get another cloak, so it's a good thing that he got one off the carousel because he needs another one to make a Pit Fighter Emblem. And we'll see how aggressively he rolls here on level 4. He's probably going to roll pretty aggressively. I've seen a little bit of this footage. Obviously, I wasn't playing in this game. He's probably going to... Oh, there it is. There's a cloak. Okay, well, that's what he was looking for. He's probably going to roll pretty aggressively because he's being contested. And when you're contested, you want to be more aggressive in rolling down to hit your 1-cost units to try and 3-star them. All right, these are some better items here. Looks like he's going to Rageblade the Draven. Draven is kind of secondary carry in this composition. All right, let's see how he rolls down. So he can roll pretty fast. If you've seen some of the other videos that I've done with ASM, he's very good at this. So let's see. He's going to roll down to 30. He's trying to grab all of his 1-cost units. All right, that is 6 Violets. So he went from 2 Violets to 6 Violets pretty quickly there. And I think he's checking the other player to see how aggressively this person's rolling. Looks like this person still doesn't even have 2-star Violet. So... And they rolled down to 30. ASM rolled down to 20. So a little unlucky on their board there. The fact that they didn't hit the... they only have 2 Violets, even though they rolled down to 30 gold. So ASM's hitting a little bit better. All right, so Draven does turn into the secondary carry in this particular team composition. And again, you're playing through family and you're playing through Pit Fighter trait. Draven, of course, also has Pit Fighter trait, which so Violet has that, Draven has that, and then you can add more Pit Fighters. Of course, Draven does not have family trait, but if you do get family trait, he's a good person to put the emblem on because it'll drop his mana cost. So if you would find an emblem for +1 family, he's not a bad person to put that on. You could theoretically cut Powder from the team altogether, but 4 family is pretty good, so you would probably just continue playing Powder anyway and try to get up to 4 family, since, as I said, it's pretty nice to get that. All right, here is the second augment, and if you look at the options here, none of these seem to be that good, so he's going to check his different options here. Inspiring Epitaph's not terrible. Shop Glitch, I don't think that's very good at all. We don't have augment stats, but that seems pretty terrible. There's a Watcher Crest here. I don't think that would be bad here, because remember, every emblem that he has gives additional maximum health to the enemy, right? And remember it being that frying pan augment, every emblem he has grants 50 health per turn to the closest unit standing next to that. So right now, Violet is getting 50 health permanently every single round. But if you took the Watcher emblem, that could actually go up to 100 per round. Now, this is not a board that plays into 4 Watcher or anything like that, but I don't think that would have been terrible to take that. Still, Inspiring Epitaph's not bad. That's going to give some shielding. What is it? When units die, it grants shields. So that's not a bad fit here. I probably would have gone for the Watcher emblem just to like accentuate that initial frying pan augment. But this seems like a pretty defensible choice. It'll also scale better into the late game, because the more units there are on the board, the more value you get out of that. Still, I just like the idea of Violet getting insane amounts of health. Higher health obviously scales well with the Bloodthirster, because the more health you have, the bigger the shield you get when Bloodthirster triggers. And overall, this looks like it's going pretty well here. So far, so good. He's still on actually on kind of a mini win streak now, still on the 83 health. And once ASM gets up to 50 gold, he'll start rolling for the remaining Violets that he still needs to hit. Okay, so while there's not much going on this round, let's go ahead and cover specifically what Pit Fighter trait does, because that's the trait we're going to be seeing. I mean, there's only 3 Pit Fighters in right now, but we're going to see more of them as the game goes on. All right, here's the official trait description. Pit Fighters gain 15% Omnivamp and deal bonus true damage. So those are that's kind of the core of the trait, is gain Omnivamp. So whatever damage they do, they heal off of some of it, and they deal bonus true damage. The deeper you go into the trait, the more true damage you get. Once per combat at 50% health, they heal a percentage of their max health over 2 seconds. So when they drop to 50%, so Omnivamp, bonus true damage, and when they drop to 50% health, they get a heal. And the deeper you go into the trait, the higher the true damage percentage and the higher the heal is. Right now at Pit Fighter 2, it's only 6% true damage and it's a 10% health heal. So if you're only playing 2 Pit Fighter, which is what ASM has in right now, you're really only getting the 15% Omnivamp. 6% true damage is like whatever. 10% heal is not very good. Look at those little damage bars. The white on the damage bars is the amount of true damage. So right now the trait is pretty much just getting the 15% Omnivamp. And then as he plays deeper into the trait, those will start to scale up. And then, oh, what's this? Well, this is a good bit of RNG, because there are 3 spatulas and frying pans on this carousel, and that synergizes perfectly with that initial augment that ASM took. Now, if he could take literally anything off this carousel, he'd want the Gangplank. Can he get that? Yes, because Gangplank is a Pit Fighter. Like, playing Gangplank lets him play another Pit Fighter, and it's also a spatula, or a frying pan. I keep getting the spatulas and the frying pans confused. It's also a frying pan, so now if he gets another cloak... Oh, he actually sold... Interesting. He actually does want to play that unit, but I guess he just sold it for more econ right now. If he can get another cloak, he can do another Pit Fighter emblem. And then that'll be +2 Pit Fighters. Now, there's only 6 Pit Fighter units in the game right now, so in order to get to Pit Fighter 8, you have to get double emblems, but he actually looks like he has a chance to do that right now, because he's already got the 2 emblems very, very early on here in the game. So your Pit Fighters are Draven and Violet at the 1 cost tier, and then you have Urgot at the 2 cost tier, Gangplank at the 3 cost tier, Vi at the 4 cost tier. So yes, it's both Violet and Vi, and yes, that gets confusing. And then Savika at the 5 cost tier. So it's 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the cost structure. And again, if you want to get Pit Fighter 6 in, normally you have to play all of them, which makes it kind of awkward because you need to play a Savika. And this is one of the issues with playing this comp. By the way, this is, yeah, that person has the, what was that, the Super Sterix as well. and a lot of units with that. All right, so now ASM actually has enough econ to reroll here, and he's on 7, what is it, 7 Violets? So he's getting kind of close. He's on 7 Darius as well. So if he hits them, then he's going to be in much better position. But anyway, as I said, it's a little bit tricky playing this comp because you want to re-roll for the Darius, the Draven, the Violet, and I guess the Powder, although you don't really care about Powder that much. She's just kind of in there as a trait bot for family. But like, you do want to 3-star these units. And then after that, if you want to get 6 Pit Fighter, you do have to go up to, you do have to get Savika in there, who's a 5 cost. So like, that's just kind of inherently hard to do. But if you can get these emblems, one emblem allows you to play 6 Pit Fighters without finding Savika. By having 2 Pit Fighter emblems, that actually allows ASM to play 6 Pit Fighters really easily, and if he can hit all of the natural Pit Fighters, all 6 of them, plus 2 emblems, he can theoretically play Pit Fighter 8 on level 8. But he does have to find Savika for that. That's going to be a little bit tricky. The other nice thing about getting that spatula is, remember, he is gaining health on Violet every single turn. Now that he has double frying pans, he's getting plus 100 HP on Violet every single turn. And wow, that was not too bad considering how little he had to roll for that. Not too shabby. And you can see there's actually quite a bit of chat in the game here talking about about some various stuff that's going on here. But yeah, all right, there's finally 2-star Vander. Ideally, you'd want a 3-star Vander in this build, but honestly, if he can hit 3-star Darius, I think ASM will be content with that because Darius is really his main tank. In some of these family builds, it's Vander, but I think for this game, he's going to play more through the Darius. All right, there's another cloak, so that is another Pit Fighter emblem. I'll be able to make that. And again, Violet is scaling up, getting another 100 HP every single round because of the double emblems right there. Not bad. Then he can sell these for extra gold. Let's see what he can hit. All right, there's Draven. There's Gangplank. Gangplank's going to be the next unit in. And there's Urgot as well. Let's see. Unfortunately, he's kind of running out of bench space here. Let's see. Oh, he's going to roll below 50. Let's see how deep he wants to go here. Going to sell the Urgot. And all right, I think he wanted the 3-star Darius. And then now he can look to potentially level. And yeah, and then put in the Gangplank. That's 4 Pit Fighter. And then in addition, he can make another Pit Fighter emblem. Boom, there we go. That's 5 Pit Fighters. Now, if that Urgot comes back, he can play 6 Pit Fighter, and he doesn't even need to find Vi or Savika to play 6 Pit Fighter. So that's a pretty big jump right there. Now, again, some of these other items not great. I think he pretty much has to do, like, Protector's Vow. Protector's Vow Darius would not be terrible here. I would probably just put the tier and the vest together for Protector's Vow and Darius. I don't know what else you'd do with those items. I think that that's probably the best way to use them, but I would probably try to make at least one other item here, or at least put the vest on Darius, because Darius is going to be the main tank in this board. Darius is 3-starred, Vander's only 1-star. It does not look like Vander's going to get to 3-star anytime soon, and if he would, there's an item remover, so you can always pop those items off. All right, time for another augment. This one's prismatic. I was like, oh, Watcher Crown. You know, you could, once again, take the Watcher Crown, and that would give another one of the other items, but no, it's Pit Fighter Crown is an option too. Gain a Pit Fighter emblem, a Sterix Gauge, and Gangplank. Well, this is just literally the perfect thing that ASM could possibly take. Think of how many good things this does for his board. First, he gets the Sterix Gauge, which I believe he misclicks on Vander there. Definitely wants the Sterix Gauge on Violet. Unfortunately, he has all those item removers. Back in the day, if I can be TFT old man here, back in the day, we didn't get to use a billion item removers. But anyway, he gets another Pit Fighter emblem. Now he has 3 of them. So if he has Powder stand next to Violet, she'll be getting 150 health every turn, which is insane. Although I think he's trying to position so Powder is not next to Darius and not next to Vander. He could just probably reposition away from the front lines a little bit there. But anyway, that is a 3rd Pit Fighter emblem. So even though Violet's only getting 100 HP per round, this is pretty crazy. Now there's Pit Fighter 6 in on level 6 with no Vi and no Savika. And now and he doesn't even have Urgot on his board either. Now he just has to find Urgot and Vi. And if he finds the 2 of them, he can play 8 Pit Fighter, which is really, really silly. So what does it do on this board when you get deeper into the Pit Fighter trait? So I mentioned Pit Fighter 2. It's really you just get the Omnivamp for Pit Fighter 2. Oh, by the way, there is the 35 stacks cash out for Conqueror trait. Just turned into a Zeri 2 that he sells for 5 gold. So anyway, Pit Fighter 2, you pretty much are just getting the 15% Omnivamp. When you go up to Pit Fighter 4, you go from 6% true damage to 12% and a 10% heal to 25% heal. At Pit Fighter 6, which is what ASM has in right now, you go up to 20% true damage. So 20% of all damage is converted into true damage. Oh, no, actually, it's not. It's bonus true damage. Okay. So it doesn't convert into... it doesn't convert the damage into true damage. It just deals extra true damage. That's even better, actually. and then the heal is 40%. So like now the heal and the true damage are starting to become pretty significant, because when Violet gets low, when she drops to half health, she's going to get the Bloodthirster shield and she's going to heal 40% of her lost health. Just makes her a very, very strong unit. And you can see on the little damage bars, now the true damage is starting to become more meaningful. 20% true damage is not nothing. Again, true damage ignores all armor and magic resistance, so that's pretty nice. And then if you can get up to the 8 Pit Fighter, it goes up to 50% true damage, and the heal goes up to 99%. So the units will always heal to max when they take damage, and then 50% bonus true damage. There's actually another frying pan here, but ASM's picking last on carousel because he started to win rounds. That would have been particularly ridiculous. But now he needs to try to do something with, again, he's got all these items on his bench. He really should try to do something with one of these. Let's see what he's going to take here. All right, he's going to go ahead and take the cloak, and I think he's going to do Gargoyle Stoneplate with this. Again, I think he should kill the tier to make a Protector's Vow, and then you could always do, I don't know, something like the Adaptive Helm later on, but I believe he goes for the Gargoyle Stoneplate, which is a good item, but like with double tiers and no way to use these tiers, I really think he should have made Protector's Vow. That's just maybe a difference in playstyle there. Anyway, so now the plan is get up to level 8, and on level 8, you play Urgot on level 7, and then play the Vi on level 8, and then that's pretty much the board. He's also moving Gangplank up into the front row, so he's going to play Gangplank in his... Gangplank, of course, has Form Swapper, so he can play both traits. Going to play him in the front row, and I guess he's going to try to do Gangplank as like his other unit. Oh, he was able to take advantage of Scrap Trait. That's right. Powder has Scrap Trait, and Gangplank has Scrap Trait as well, so the tier does roll into a Scrap item. And in this case, it rolled into, I think it rolled into Protector's Vow. Still, Violet is the focus of the team. Violet already has 4,000 health over there. Violet has 4,000 HP. Okay. And now it's time for the Anomaly round. So let's see what he takes here. Now, the standard thing to take in this build is Ultimate Hero, which turns a 1-star unit, a 1-cost unit into a 4-star unit. And let's see. Titanic Strikes would not be terrible here either. Fireball, no. Touch of Frost. Attacks cast 20% chill enemies for 4 seconds. When chilled enemies die, they stun the nearest enemy for 4 seconds. All right, so he takes this. This is honestly not a good choice. ASM's running a setup here where, with triple Pit Fighter emblems, he should be able to just kind of steamroll the lobby anyway, but this is legitimately a bad choice. This is not a good anomaly to take. This is actually one of the, again, we don't have data for anomalies, but based on what people have said in conversations, it seems pretty clear this is not one of the better anomalies. What you really want is the one that turns Vi into a 4-star unit. And in this patch version, you could force that by rerolling enough times. You could theoretically reroll through every single anomaly until you hit the one you want. But more realistically, you just want something good, and this really is not this really is not a good choice. It's like funny to have this, but I would not recommend taking this one. There are a number of other ones that would be better. Just anything that's good for a melee AD fighter would be good to have here, but this is definitely not it. All right, so anyway, ASM is continuing just to try to push his way towards level 8, and then if he can find Vi, he's got the 8 Pit Fighters in, which is 50% bonus true damage. It's like your resistances mean nothing. I'm thinking a little bit about like when in set 10, if you did the true damage and you could get like very deeply into the trait, your board would just be doing like massive amounts of true damage. It's just like your resistances were completely meaningless. Anyway, there he was fighting the other Vi player or Violet player, and it just, yeah, he just kind of annihilated that board. So a little bit unfortunate for them. Did not work out in that particular, didn't work out for them in this particular game. And that's not that unusual. That person rolled and they just didn't really hit the violets. In this game, ASM did. And that can be the case with 1-cost reroll. Like you kind of either hit or you don't. And in the games where you don't hit, you're often going you're often going 7th or 8th in the games where you just don't hit. All right, so yeah, ASM did not end up hitting a lot of Dravens in this game, but he hit the Darius and he hit the Vi, and those are kind of the only ones he needs. There's one of the new prismatic orbs. Let's see what pops out of that one. Looks like it's an item anvil. It's like an anvil of some kind. Let's see. So, he also got a ton of gold here. So he should be able to find, hopefully, Vi here. Not Violet. He just needs to find a Vi here if he wants to play the 8 Pit Fighter. Let's see if he can find. All right, let's see. Oh, there's another Vander. Okay, there's actually a Rumble here. I guess Rumble doesn't really fit on this board, but such a good unit. I feel like he should maybe have tried to play the Rumble anyway. LeBlanc, no. All right, well, there's 6 Vanders. All right, there's 6 Dravens. Mordekaiser, no. It really just needs a Vi here. All right, he was just gonna put another Vander on the board, but it actually doesn't end up happening. Let's see, can make Infinity Edge for the Draven, and then it looks like he's gonna take the Eternal Flame because he does not have a heal cut on his board right now. This is a support item where as long as the holder is alive, the enemy team takes gets burned constantly throughout the fight, which does make sense because, as I said, he didn't have a heal cut on his team at all. Anyway, Violet is back there punching people, doing her thing. She has so much health, it's really, really hard to kill her. It did 9,000 damage. And no Vi. Keep getting Violet and Vi confused. No Vi yet, but sooner or later. All right, that's another powder. And let's see. Oh, there's Vi. Okay, that's what you're looking for. There's actually 2 powders on the board there. Anyway, so up to 8 powders now. Not that powder really matters that much. And it looks like he's going to pump up Vi's health as well. I think it's maybe a little late in the fight for that. Also, there's just this leftover tier. So I don't really know what you do with the tier. It's not really an item component that's too useful here. Violet should be standing next, or Powder should be standing next to somebody, though. All right, I guess it's going to give the benefit to the Vi. But anyway, that's 8 Pit Fighter. Remember, 8 Pit Fighter is 15% Omnivamp, because that's a flat amount. You always get that when playing Pit Fighter. Heal 99% of your health when you drop to half health, and then 50% bonus true damage. So it looks like Violet's getting low, but like, nope, that 99% heal just pops in, and she continues to go back punching people. She has 4,600 health already, and she continues punching people. Actually, somehow and look at those damage bars. See all the white on those damage bars on the right-hand side? That's the 50% bonus true damage. Vi did like half her damage as true damage, which is pretty wild. So now ASM has a number of options here. He can try to get up to level 9 if he wants to, or he can just stay here on level 8 and try to reroll. He would be looking for, I guess he could try to get like Savika in here, and then he could take out the Urgot, who's really not doing anything on his board. So I guess I would probably try to go to 9 here and try to find Savika. I realize he's only 1 powder off powder 3-star, but Powder's just a trait bot. She's not doing anything on this board. And then he's on 6 Vanders, 6 Dravens. It's just unlikely. Now that he's level 8, it's very unlikely he's going to 3-star any of these units. So I would probably just go to level 9 and try to find Savika here as he's as the conversation continues. So yeah, pretty wild game here. Violet actually, again, looks like she's getting low. She actually does die in this fight against this person's 3-star Nocturne. But it looks like the rest of the team's on it. Remember, Draven is also a Pit Fighter. There's a lot. I mean, I should back up. Every single unit on his board is a Pit Fighter. So every single one of them is getting that 50% bonus true damage. So even though Violet's the main focus, the other units are definitely doing their thing as well. Apparently, somebody's taking pictures in the corner of the screen. I don't know what those messages are. And Violet's continuing to get another 100 max health every single round, too. By the way, there is a family emblem here. It should really probably take the family emblem here if it's still there. Let's see if it's still around. Oh, somebody ended up taking it. That's disappointing. Family would have been nice. Then he would continue getting even more health from people standing next to that. And let's see. There's actually a Jinx. Oh, does he want to play Jinx here? No. Took the Spear of Shojin. Who is this Shojin for? I'm not sure that there is a unit that really needs that. Not that any of those items were especially good for him. But anyway, I guess you could put it on Powder, I guess. If Powder's 3-starred, that'll be a lot more useful on her. And, all right, I guess he's just going to continue going to level 9. The Blitzcrank player typed in, "Oh, you can't have everything, boo." You have 3 Pit Fighter crests. It looks like that person just denied it, even though they had no use for a family crest at all. That would have been even more ridiculous. All right, also up to 5 GPs. I don't think he's going to hit 3-star Gangplank, but you might as well grab them. You never know. It doesn't really cost much econ. Hopefully the Urgot can be replaced and he can maybe get Vi too. All right, so here is the person playing Ambusher Camille. So this is one of the other builds that's really popular right now. 3-star Camille, 3-star Smeech. Like the Smeech is running on the back lines, but again, like that heal, the 99% heal that every Pit Fighter gets makes it pretty tough. And Violet just continues punching people over and over and over again. She has almost 5,000 health now, and that person gets knocked out, even though their board was pretty strong, but unfortunately not enough. Not against the triple Pit Fighter emblems, just not enough. By the way, Violet's little celebration looks really stupid as far as I'm concerned. It's kind of a really dumb celebration there. Still, this is a kind of a ridiculous high roll game. I don't know what else to say, but it's certainly fun watching this. Oh, it's also going to move some of these items around. Okay, so blue buff plus Shojin. Now blue buff is not very good on Powder at all, but it's not like ASM was really doing anything with that tier on Gangplank. So just getting Powder's first cast off is probably not bad. This way she casts almost instantly at the start of the fight. It's not like particularly strong, but it's probably the best way he could make use of those extra item components. And then the other kind of main damage dealer is, I guess, Draven in the back. It's a shame he wasn't able to find more Dravens in this game. Draven 3-star right now would be doing a ton of damage. But as it is, he's still contributing, but Violet's the one who's doing most of the damage. Again, gets that massive heal. She just has so much health and so much Omnivamp. It's just like impossible to do anything against her. What does her ability actually do? And we see her walking around punching people. I'll just read her official ability because I honestly don't even know what this unit exactly does. All right, 1-2-3 combo. Violet's ability, jab 2 times for physical damage east, then uppercut them, dealing physical damage, briefly knocking them up. Okay, so she punches people. All right, and then somebody just quits the lobby because it was down to one other player you left. And honestly, that was probably the smart thing to do. That person wasn't going to win, and at least that saves everybody a little time. So anyway, this is where the replay cuts out. I'll go ahead and grab a static screenshot from this game and post it here at the end of the video. So, like, what do we make of this game? This was a completely stupid high roll game. Triple Pit Fighter emblems in the game with the frying pan augment where you gain stacking extra health. ASM played 8 Pit Fighter, and he didn't even find Savika in this game, which is completely nuts. So with Violet at like 5,000 HP and 8 Pit Fighter, there really was very little he could do. Even though I think he took kind of a troll anomaly there, he still just steamrolled the lobby. So you're not going to see this in most games, but at least it was fun. At least we got to see something entertaining here. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this game. Thanks to ASM for sending the footage. Until next time, take care, folks. I'll see you again soon.